Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to share our findings and also inputs to the committee. And it is a really critical measure that is being heard today. And we hope that with the chair's leadership, this will be passed in the 2 months' time that is foreseen. Next slide, please. In 2024, we reported in the year two report of EDCOM how bullying has become such a critical problem in our schools that based on CPLM and PISA, we were already the bullying capital of the world. And so there was urgency in addressing the safety of our students, as well as their belongingness concerns that they feel and the loneliness that was mentioned by DOH earlier in our schools, which also came out in the study. Next slide. Lumabas po sa usapan po nung March nung dumating si Dean Penny Bishop of Boston University that in any intervention on learning, rigor should be complemented by relationships. That while we are talking about focusing on tutorial, on making sure that they are academically equipped, that we make sure that they don't feel anonymous in school and that each child has at least one adult who could mentor and support and listen to them. And so magkatambal po ang learning crisis at ang safety concerns that we are facing today. Next slide. As was mentioned earlier also, we have been working with DepEd since 2024 to revise the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 IRR, and we await its full implementation. In the schools that we have talked to recently, we are still waiting for the designation of learning formation officers, the localized anti-bullying policies, as well as the tiered disciplinary system, because a swift response to bullying will deter further violence later on. So mahalaga po na agarang lunas ang available kasi dati po ang kwento buwan or taon minsan ang binibilang bago ma-resolve ang cases on bullying. And also the fast tracking of the hiring of school counselor associates that Yusek Willie already mentioned. Next slide. Mr. Chair, our key inputs on the school safety bill are gleaned from best practices in the US, UK, Australia, Japan, and other countries in the ASEAN, existing legislation that we have in our country, including the school-based mental health law and the Anti-Bullying Act, as well as the known constraints that we have seen on the ground based on our experience with DepEd. Next slide. The first is that really we need to identify proactive efforts to call out risks and then to intervene. This requires annual undertaking of assessments of who are high-risk learners, where are high-risk locations, and when are high-risk periods in the school and in the greater community. And this should trigger, among others, very clear delineation of roles and responsibilities among school personnel during incidents, as well as the participation of barangays, the police, as well as other government agencies concerned. Mahalaga din po, tulad ng nasabi ng ating chair kanina, yung school-wide communication channels and emergency alert systems para hindi nagkakagulo lalo pag may nangyari ng violence. But we want to underscore that to prevent the violence from happening to begin with, annual assessments and identification of interventions to address such high risks must be done regularly. Next slide. Malinaw din po, ang best practice kasi multidisciplinary team that will assess threat. Pero po yung multidisciplinary team, unang-una, kulang tayo ng eksperto. Ikalawa, yung resources talagang napakalalim ng pangangailangan. One low-hanging fruit is really the class advisors. Kasi ang kailangan po natin is someone who knows the student intimately and can identify pag may challenge, tapos mare-refer. So, at the lowest hanging fruit that we have is really empowering class advisors with the actual time in their everyday to identify these risks. If there's a change in behavior among their students, meron bang biglang nag-absent na madalas, biglang masyadong tahimik, biglang naging palaaway or nagre-retaliate para ma-flag na niya, makausap, at then ma-refer sa guidance counselor o sa SCA pag meron. Napakahalaga po nito kasi sa isang busy or congested school, yung class advisor yung talagang touch point na pang araw-araw na pwedeng nandoon na para makapag-identify ng risk. And then, you just expand the school care centers under RA 12080 to have the additional responsibility of supporting these at-risk learners as referred by the class advisors. Kasi po, hindi talaga natin kakayanin yung MDTs kasi sa inclusive ed pa lang, yung MDTs natin under the ILRCs, binubuno pa natin yung personnel, yung professionals, taon po or dekada yung bibilangin natin. Next slide. The third is it really starts at the motivation of students and how do you really inculcate the values in the students. And there are two things. Obviously, social emotional learning, teaching students how to manage anger, fear, shame, rejection, peer pressure, and also how to identify unsafe situations and how to seek help early. Pero bahagi din po nito yung digital safety, how to identify ano na ba yung cyberbullying, ano yung dapat hindi nila ginagawa, ano yung responsible use of AI na hindi sila gumagawa ng mga inedit na photos at i-share nila, as well as what counts as unsafe online relationships. Tulad ng nasabi ni Senator Win, maraming mga games na minsan may access sila to adults from elsewhere tapos na-impluensya na pala sila. So how to be sensitive about this? But we want to highlight that moving beyond memorization, kasi baka maging tugon natin dito is ituro, 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 baka ite-test, i-memorize, kailangan po ipapractice. So kailangan practice siya, paulit-ulit, ina-assess, tapos kino-connect na pag nangyari ito sa inyo, ano yung dapat gawin? Sino yung kakausapin sa school? Kanino ire-report? At dapat available talaga yung mga tao na yon at yung mga suportang yon. Kasi kung hindi, in theory siya, baka hindi ma-live out. So napakahalaga po yung practice and availability of these pathways. Next slide. The fourth is the responsibility of parents and guardians. In many of our discussions with teachers related to these concerns, lagi nilang sinasabi, sana yung mga magulang at yung mga guardians, alam din yung responsibilidad nila sa tahanan, sa pagturo ng mga values, sa access to digital devices, as well as also pag may problema sa school, kung ano yung dapat gampanan nila. Also, in the schools that we have seen that have succeeded in terms of the learning crisis, talaga pong yung role ng barangays, yung mga tanod nandoon sa mga entry points, yung mga tanod nandoon sa kalye pag dismissal area, malinaw po yung cooperation ng school at saka ng LGU. And this could be done through heightened monitoring in learner routes, dismissal areas during dismissal time, nearby establishments at saka areas that are identified as high-risk areas within the community. Finally, Mr. Chair, just wanted to highlight that, next slide please, as you mentioned also, post-incident support. But again, sana po unahin din talaga yung principal and teachers kasi that's the only way that they can also support their learners. So the availability of post-incident, immediate mental health, psychosocial, and trauma-informed support, and there could be perhaps protocols that the bill could also integrate that allows, based on the proportionality of the incident that occurred, that could be done through the school division office's mental health and well-being office kasi hindi talaga kaya to per school. But within the RA 12080, pwedeng idagdag po ito sa SDO level na talagang may ganung rotating pool tayo para kung saan siya kailangan, doon siya tututok or sa high-risk areas. Yun lamang po, Mr. Chair, and we will work closely with the committee for the drafting of this measure.